hello, 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 hello.
All it miss me?
Oh!
I miss all the bad.
Meeting people is so wonderful. I can hardly wait to meet someone. Maybe just to give myself a chance. Just to keep more love in my existence. Hello, 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 hello.
Welcome to episode 100 and... I ain't check. Welcome to episode, after 2 weeks of listening to Query Shepherd podcast. Welcome back to everybody who's been listening. Welcome to all the new listeners. All you want me leave happened to me. Just hold on, Super Blue. Hold on, Super. We have plenty to cover. We have 2 weeks worth of topic to fit into one episode. Hello. Anybody there? I was frightened with all in. One thing I was frightened for, right? Let me tell you some of my insecurities. As soon as I miss an episode or I miss an episode or two, I just feel like we're going to move on and leave me behind, you know. So I appreciate everybody who reach out. I appreciate everybody concerns. I appreciate everybody who called to gangster me and message to gangster me and so on. I appreciate that. I'm glad to know this. Let me know what happened to me, right? Let me give you a story before again. Well, first, my apologies to the YouTube folks for the last episode, right? I'm not a young man. And I press record on the audio, but I ain't too much press record on the video. And then midway through the video, when I check the camera to see if it recorded, I see green, I see red, and the thing went out how it went out, right? So the first half of the episode from the last episode, I think that was episode 187, maybe? Somewhere around there. And you will notice it's black screen. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do different to make it not black screen, so I just leave it black screen. But if you had cut off before that, go back. Somewhere around the middle point, 40 minutes or so, I realized it was off and the video come on from then. So my apologies. I'm not a young man blaming everything on age, right? Well, it work with me. So here what happened over the last few weeks, right? I'll give you the story in a nutshell. The problem I end up having is this. I went to the dentist. Paula Stacy said, go by the dentist and take care of yourself. She just that. So I go on by the dentist and the dentist do a little scan and so on. So to the dentist, I ain't calling no names, eh? You know, it's always had to have some kind of story. Coincidentally, this is not the 200th episode, right? We get into episode 200, but I want to tell you that this is the 200th time that I'm publishing an episode. Oh, that doesn't sound like it making sense, right? Some of the episodes, like conversations, when I have people on, I don't usually number them. So it's only when I was going to upload the last one I realized I'm on my 199th recording. So this is officially 200. But not officially 200, right? And every time I get into a milestone like 100 or 200, because when my memories come up on Apple Photos, like to put up these memories and these kind of things, I realized that leading up to the 100th episode is when I had to do the first surgery on my Achilles. And I right back in that spot because they tell me wisdom tooth infected. I said, all right, well, you know what I mean? I thought I'd done it. I forget I have wisdom tooth still because I thought I took out all, to be honest, but apparently it's only 2 I take out. So, they say it's infected. I had a very, very bad experience with one of my wisdom teeth. I think I tell that story here before, where I so like lime that my wisdom teeth hurting and thing, but in TSTT them days, and I go into Tobago with a work squad, you know what I mean? Squad of man and squad of girls, so you know I want to miss that lime at all. And I get a little pain on the way to the boat. So I said I stop buy a couple of drugs and I buy some cataflam. Them days they're young, you know, so I taking 2-3 cataflam one time. I don't care about what they say. The more it swells, the more cataflam you need, right? Forget what they tell you about them one a day. And forget what they tell you about eat before and take. Just take cataflam, just take, you know what I mean? I just eat about 3. Ain't eat nothing. And by the time I reach Tobago, my face starts swelling. To the point where the morning after, when everybody eating breakfast, I could only consume liquids at that point in time because my face swelled so, my jaw swelled shut, my mouth cannot open. And I still lime that whole weekend and wait to come back on the boat Monday morning. It's just about stupidity. I take the normal boat flight back. Instead I bring up the date and go back home or go at a dentist or a doctor or the hospital in Tobago. I just lime the whole weekend till the side of my face here swell big. And my chest started to swell, and I go on by Dr. White, so Dr. Darius White, greatest of all time. And Darius tell me, boy, that thing gonna go to your brain and kill you, or go to your heart and kill you. Why you take so long to that man is buffy up, you done sick already. And send me to do all kind of tests and things, and tell me how to do surgery immediately. If you think he tell me for one set of blood tests, HIV, I frightened like hell when he see me with this thing now, and I start to write down name. I say, which one of these? You know what I mean? I say, which one of them? Send me down the river. And well, it turns out I was good, and it turns out I was the wisdom too that was bothering me and so on. And I had to wait for all that swelling because I get 2 injections in Dr. White's office. One was cataflam, and one was an antibiotic. And I can't tell you how much pain I was in. So my face swollen and heavy to the point where I had to hold it to walk it moving it heavy. And I had a listen. After the injection, I'm limping now because the injection so painful when he came out in the office. I had to lie down for about a half hour before I could move. Pain. And when I go on now by the blood test place and tell these people I have a HIV test, the woman say, no, you don't want to do the test. Save your 300, you have it soaking. You have it soaking. We can see you come in here limping on your face. Where you looking for confirmation? But also, well, that ends well. But when I hear infection this time now, I say, boy, let me take in front before in front take me, because I cannot afford now at this stage in life. I can't take too much cataflam because my belly hurting. Youth is youth and age is age. So I said, let me take in front. And I went. The dentist tell me the wisdom tooth looking like it by the nerve. You know, they do the dental X-ray thing, 360 and all these fancy things now. And they say it looking close to the nerve. And this is what the woman tell me in the office, right? This is what the dentist tell me. She said, from what I see in here, I want to recommend a dental or oral surgeon, I think is what they say, because the root of that wisdom tooth looking so close to the nerve that the likelihood of paralysis in your face, right? The likelihood of paralysis in your face removing that tooth is high. I never hear nothing like that in my... I say, wait. I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean the likelihood is high? So leave it then. She's like, well, it's infected, so that will affect your jawbone and that thing, and you could get a flare up because it's she says like a chronic infection or inflammation is the word she used, and that could become acute at any point. I say, boy, listen, when you say high chance or thing, she's like, high, it's very likely that the nerve will be affected by way. I say, well, what trouble is this, boy? So I say, you know what? Let me go by the oral surgeon as she recommend, right? And I decided doing that. I call up the people she recommend, 4 people. Now I end up in Couture now and Kankalang in the dental office now, which I don't like them kind of uncomfortable position because she recommends surgeons based on this likelihood of face paralysis. And all I studied in life is I cannot afford to have half my face paralyzed. I as a man laugh at a lot of people in life, right? So I sometimes be waiting for my portion to reach back, and I be waiting for my karma, because when you see us, you see your face, I meet you a long time and you're looking nice with your face kind of halfway. I say, well, you sleep with the fan on once, you must put the fan to oscillate, you know, you're stroking. I tell women all kind of thing in this life, so I'm frightened now because I say, they go wait for me. Some of them must be done waiting for me already in my old age to say, oh, you used to talk about things, look at you now. So I say face paralysis is not in the equation. We cannot afford that, right? I say I'm going by the surgeon. When time to get the recommendation from the dentist now, I sit down in the dental office. I finish, I pay, and in the lobby now I wait. And I say, oh, what going on now? They tell me, hold on a few minutes. I say, pass the thing, let me see who she recommend and let me call them. I want to do this tomorrow. Only for a woman now who wasn't the dental assistant or the dentist or nobody. This is the first time she talking to me. I saw her in the office and anything before, and she come whispering to me now. The head dentist here wanted to see you. We don't know why Dr. So-and-so didn't recommend him, but he wants to come. I said, hey, I can't wait for this now. I says, do you want to recommend XYZ? Tell him, make an appointment. Make an appointment with me now if you want to see me. I didn't like that, because now that started to feel like a little bit of a hustle. And coincidentally, I see in one of the first articles I'm going to talk about here today is about the whole dental work in Trinidad and Tobago and where it headed, right? But I didn't like the hustle kind of vibes. Like, the person who asking to see me there is not a dental surgeon, as far as I understand. But the dentist now recommend that I see a surgeon, but you saying he should recommend you, and I don't want this kind of problem. So I call up the people who I talked to was nice in the dental surgeon place. And I say, you know what, make an appointment, let me see this man. And they explain to me that, listen, if they come, they could watch it, they have things they could do to protect the nerve. Blah, blah, blah. Them start to sound like the likelihood of paralysis a little lower now. Right? So I say, all right, let me go by them one time. Them sound like they know what they're doing. I go on up there. The man explained everything to me. He said, nah, the nerve, that. And he said most of the time paralysis is not permanent, or any nerve issues not permanent, it regenerates over time. Boy, listen. I go and rise, man. He tell me all this thing. I say, well, all right, let me do it now. Let me do it. He tell me I have two options. He could do it as an extraction, or he could, while I awake, and do normal anesthetic, the normal injection thing, or he could put me to sleep. I say, you know what? Forget the anesthetic thing. Let me do this today. Because if I had to do the anesthesia, I am waiting to schedule with the anesthesiologist. I said, let me do it today. No, I do the thing right earlier. I was very responsible in life. Because I thought about my podcast and I thought about everything that needs to be done for me to recover from wisdom tooth surgery. I also have an MBA class going on now in digital marketing. So I thought about them. I say, you know what? My class is whole day Saturday. I want to record. Usually wrong on Monday I record. So let me schedule this thing for Tuesday. So when I do it Tuesday and Wednesday I numb. Thursday and Friday I recover. Saturday I back to class. And Monday I back to podcast. You know what I mean? I'm a responsible man. I'm going to take care of my responsibilities in this life. Well, boy, I can tell you this. That did not go well at all. I don't know. Well, he described this in the end as a difficult extraction. I think that's code word for all hell break loose. That's code word for all hell break loose. I'd be 9 ways to say the excrement hit the ventilator. Because when this man do the thing, he inject me and do the numbing thing and all that, and start to pull, I start to hear teeth breaking. Pow! When he pulling, I never, listen, I have PTSD a little bit. You hear anything breaking, and I guess you can't feel pain, but you can feel it. This thing is, that happened about 6 times. I am now in there over an hour. I don't know if it's the fear, the anesthetic, the air condition, the breaking, pause, but I sweating like a horse inside the dental chair. Sweating. And the thing is, like, through the dental window, when I lie down, through the window in this man's office, I could peep and see my car. And I can't get the thought out of my mind. Like, why I leave my comfortable car and come in this office? That's all I think about. It's like, why did I set foot in this office? I cannot get his thought out of my mind at this point. And I was like, what is happening here? Why did I come here? Eventually, the man say, hey, how is he seen? And I hear them talking, right? I mean, they're talking in more code words like difficult extraction, but again, everything they're saying something like the all hell breaking loose. And eventually the man say, hey, where is he seen? Here, where is he seen? This is going on too long, that thing breaking up into pieces, this, that. We're getting real close to that nerve and we're getting close to the root of the tooth in front of it. And I was like, why are we doing this? What is happening here? Moral of the story is he decided to leave 2 pieces inside there, because them 2 pieces too close to the nerve, and sew it back up on whatever else he had to do. And call it a day. He say all the infected thing gone, all the thing removed, and I on my way. Painkillers and antibiotics and go home. You know, I live in Chagonas. This dentist is in town. I want to tell you, it's the longest drive home I ever make in my life. Because when he, they put a napkin like a bib when you're doing dental work. I think my mouth still moving too good and I see myself in the screen in my mouth. Let me take myself off the screen here. But when they put the bib, right? When that man take off that bib, the bib is bloody. It's a blood. It's blood. I never seen nothing like this in no dental work yet. I don't know if this is unique to me, but I never see this in no dental work yet. The thing bloody, like blood, like you're spotting. And then the woman who think to take off the glasses now, when I was sweating to her, she said, no, just no, don't think it. She started to wipe off my face. She said, a little blood on it. I was like, what? When I watch in my rearview mirror, my mouth looking bloody. My lips. And you're biting down on the gauze the thing. I already, now leaving the office, typically leaving the dental office, the biggest problem you have is that you can't feel nothing. And you have to bite down on this thing. So the numbness is usually your biggest issue, right? The numbness was there, but I was also feeling a dead pain. And my neck and my head and everything hurting. Boy, I never see Shogona so far in my life. I can't reach home in enough time, and I still had to stop for a set of cataflam and whatever other drugs the man gave me to take. And I reach home here forgetting that I had scheduled with the air condition man to come here to do air condition service in the same day. So them drilling and vacuuming, and listen, I don't think. No, I want to. If you've been here a long time, you remember I went through the foot surgery, right? I went through some kind of pain with the foot surgery. I had to do a second surgery and thing, and it was some bouts of that with my foot was the most pain I ever feel in my life. Now, no only woman here, I'm talking about pain. Or talking about man is just complain for pain. And if I was a woman, always make sure and do podcast at the same time. And all right, cool. But with this pain and wisdom tooth here, that first couple of days after that surgery, I don't think I ever feel pain like that in my life. You know, Palestinians reminded me about my foot, and it's true. There had some bouts on my foot where it's definitely the most pain I ever feel. But imagine that foot pain in your face, and then you understand what it is I'm going through. So, I saying all that to say I had a good excuse to not be here. Today is my first day since that surgery that I have not been on painkillers. First day. Now, I want to set the expectation and manage expectation here, because I tell you all, you know, if I do this for 2 hours and I'm feeling good right now, and then after this, I'm in pain for the whole night, and I think I went and played football yesterday, and I feel good playing football. If I end up going back into pain after this, all in hearing from me for a while, you know, I need this to heal. I need to not talk with a lisp. I feel like I have a little bit of light lisp. I'm in full control. I'm like the bottom left lip. What is called that? The bottom left half, right half of your lip not working at all. And I tell the doctor, I said, what is called doctor? Dentist or doctor? I tell him, I say, that where my special move is come from. I mean, I work on this thing for 40 something years now. You have no feeling anything. I can't get no feedback at all. So I had to cancel my class along with the podcast, and it have me behind in terms of both publishing the podcast as well as my MBA class. So I'm trying to catch up with the MBA class. I mean, this class is a good class too, so I hope it goes well. But there's a lot going on. But I just want you to know that I've lined up a fine selection today of songs about talking. Since I can't talk, I think I got a little music do the talking for me. So the songs today is about talking, right? And take it in two ways. Take it either that I find a nice little playlist to drop for you to make sure that we stay on theme and we do what we do in terms of talking songs. Or take it as I talk about a topic and I'm a little bit of pain and I need to go and do a salt water rinse, or they tell me hot up or a warm compress and rub out your face, you know what I mean? Pause. And make sure that you're good. So take it as either one of them things, right? As the reason for why I'm playing songs. But I have a fine selection of songs about talking. And I start with Super Blue, who is one of the kings, Road March Kings. And I'm going straight to our next Road March King.
My girl is ugly. They don't know what is ugly. Oh, yeah. I know my girl is pretty. Yeah. Cause I know what is pretty. Yeah, yeah. I said ugly is skin deep and pretty is skin deep. I see they look on the outside, so they don't know the inside. So they don't know my baby is a hell of a lady, and she is my Cinderella, and I love her so yo. She is my Cinderella. I want the whole world to know I love my girl and my girl love me. We don't care what nobody say. What I said I 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 say. Because people just talk, because they talk. I say them out open and the words jump out. Some of them want luck for them out. They talk down the road and they gone round the bend. Some of them just looking for friend. But I'm telling you, talk's cheap. Talk's cheap. Talk's cheap. Talk's cheap. What they say, they say. What they say, they say. What they say, they say. Who cares what they say?
Talk cheap. Talk cheap. What they say. Coincidentally, right, Marshall said that song was a song when he was very depressed and looking to stop singing Kaiso and come out of Calypso and Soca. And he was approached and spoke to the great Winston Bailey. And Shadow gave him a song to sing, right? You know what I mean? You had to love them little backstories in Calypso. So that song was written by Shadow, delivered by Marshall. And I way to go back, like press the 10-second thing back a few times and listen to that again. Or go back on YouTube and listen to the song and tell me if you can't hear Shadow singing that. The whole song have a Shadow vibe thing. What they say? Big song. So, where to start? Start with the dental thing, since I don't start earlier on a whole rant about dentists. Coincidentally, I saw an article in the paper this week, and it's something I've been observing for some time, both in the States and across the region, right? I'll tell all of this, right? One of these, at that time back in the day, that they tell us we had to, they tell me I had to do a dental implant, right? Because I had a root canal. Hey, listen, 30 minutes on dental work is wild, right? It's wild. I promise all y'all will get back on track one day, right? It's wild start our podcast. But I do have feel in that time. I went back by the man, Dr. Woon Sam, I think the man name was on Frederick Street. I do it a few times. It went wrong. The tooth get trouble until it turned into a root canal. One day I was biting some fish bone, real life. The thing break, and then they had to extract it, right? And they tell me I need to do a dental implant or do a bridge, is what it's called. It's like a false tooth. I see, Anil and Kanita James, I think he have two bridge. I'm not doing that, right? Let me tell you, we talk about pride and thing in this side. And call it false pride or whatever, but I'm not doing that. Because that means shaving down two of your teeth. And my thing is on the sides, right? So once I keep the camera on this side, it look like I have all my teeth, right? So we had some dental implants to do, but I myself and Paula Stacey, and we decided that it was so expensive to do here. If the first dentist who quoted us was 20,000 each. I had two to do, she had two to do. You add up that maths, and I say, can't do it, can't afford it. But we did see dental tourism being a big thing, and we went to Cancun because we say for 1/4 of the price of them things, we could fly to Cancun as a family, Zachary included, go by the dentist and take care of all the dental work, including cleaning, regular checkup, little filling or whatever you had to do, plus the implants. For 1/4 of the price that you could do it in Trinidad. You had to like that, right? You gotta love it. The only expense was coming out because you have to do it as 2 visits. You had to go and do the actual implant, which is a titanium thing in the bone, basically. And then go back to do the tooth fitting, right? 6 months after that. I had to heal completely after 6 months, and then they do the other thing. Now, what ended up happening is, as with every other procedure that I do, it don't ever go smooth. I don't know why it is. Stacey good, she have her 2 implants and she finishing the process here. But mine come out. By the time I reach back to Trinidad, it never secure properly in the bone. It seems it was swollen and I had all kind of problems and pain while I was in Cancun, and it eventually came out. So I've been kind of gauging, when do I go back to Cancun to do this thing? Because now we're going to end up with an extra visit that we didn't cater for. But this is the risk you're taking when you're trying to save money and do this thing abroad. Eh? Because I know how to go back by myself, do the implants, and then 2 of us had to go back and do the thing. But she decided she's doing it. Here she fed up her waiting on me. I don't think I'm going back Cancun either. So according to how this one turned out, I might do the implant down here. And I have seen over the years, because what I'm telling you about is nearly 10 years ago. But I've seen, unlike all other prices in this country, I've seen the price of dental work start to go down and down and down and down and down. From basic dental work like cleaning and those things, all the way up to implants and Invisalign and braces and even veneers. You're starting to see them things becoming more and more affordable. And I tell myself, well, all right, we're looking good as a country, things looking good. But I'm only to see this article from Vivian Bowen saying, explosion of migrant quacks. I don't like Vivian. Vivian, you're hitting a little hard. This didn't want to be the headline. They say, while there have always been quacks operating as dentists, the Dental Board of Trinidad and Tobago is saying that there has been an explosion over the past 5 years. The statement was made by Dr. Siobhan Marchand, a member of the DBCT, who confirmed that it was the board that deals with the grouses raised by patients and not the Ministry of Health. I did see that coincidentally when I was just Googling things about things going wrong with dental procedures and I was in so much pain and everything. It looking like we headed in the right direction now, but I was kind of Googling like extractions going wrong and nerve damage. And this did come up. It came up with the Dental Board of Trinidad and Tobago, where if you have a complaint about a dentist or work that they did, you could call them and I don't know if they pick up the case for you or what exactly they do, but it seems as though you can lodge your complaint with them. She said the vast majority of quack dentists were migrants. Why are they saying quack like is a medical term, like an official term or something? All you have to do is go on Instagram. They are bold enough to advertise on social media. And what has happened, you may have had some professionals or even other categories of dental professionals coming from Venezuela. And now there are so many of these types of practitioners because they have come across due to the wave of migration, Marchand told the Express last week. It's common even in my own practice. A patient would come and say, I'm here for a cleaning, or I have been referred to take an x-ray or to take a tooth out. And I am like, who is doing your orthodontics or your braces? They may say, I don't know his or her name, but it's a Spanish man or woman. The people are having orthodontics done, and you can tell that the work is not being done correctly, Marchand said. Marchand noted while orthodontics was the most common procedure done by quacks. Marchand noted that while orthodontics was the most common procedure done by quacks, veneer or tooth covering and implants were others. She said the problem was that nobody knows the status or dental history of these quacks. You could just say quacks. This bothered me, like why she just don't say they have a questionable history or like she said we don't know the history but this thing with quacks. Okay. She said the problem was that nobody knows the status or dental history of these quacks, whether they were dentists, dental surgery assistants, or dental technicians. Saying that the quacks have not presented themselves to the Dental Council or Board for registration, Marshall noted that there was a process to follow to ensure that dentists were properly licensed in practice in Trinidad and Tobago. You need to do a qualifying examination. Once you pass the qualifying examination, you'll be registered. She noted there has only been one migrant who approached the Dental Council on 2 occasions, but that individual did not pass the required exam. Salute them. You was the only quack it up because better you'd hide and do what you had to do. Marchand said she knows for a fact that the woman was now working as an unregistered professional. But Marchand, unregistered professional means quack. You find that you're pronouncing on these people a little rough, a little harsh in anything. And you see, professionals in this country, doctor, lawyer, dentist, and thing, all they have a kind of style of working with one another to make sure that all your corner market and all your money and the bills stay high when you come by. Watching all your, I'll give you my opinion after. Asked what was the required, asked what was required to stem the upsurge of quacks. Marchand said the DBTT did not have the capacity to impose punishments on persons not registered. They say we can prosecute quacks, but we must do it with the help of the police and the DPP. So we have to use the Summary Court Act and lay in the charge. So if we get a complaint about a quack and we said that we wanted to go after the quack, there are 3 conditions that must be met. It must be within 6 months from the time that the complaint arose from the patient. For any prosecution to happen, we must have the written consent of the DPP, and that has proven problematic because getting a response within the required time frame has delayed matters being brought through the courts. Earlier this year, Marchand said the Dental Board met with representatives from the Health Ministry to deal with several amendments to legislations, and one of those amendments had to do with quacks. In a recent statement made by the Health Minister in the Senate, that's Terence D. Alsing, right? He said the Dental Board had regular meetings with the Health Ministry. Marchand refuted that notion. He said that we were in communication all the time. Well, the way that communication used to happen was in Trinidad. We used to have a chief dental surgeon, but then what happened was they decentralized dental services. There was no longer a need for a chief dental surgeon, so they created a post in the ministry called Manager of Dental Services. So the Manager of Dental Services used to have a position on the Executive Dental Board. That post was done away with, so there's no longer a Manager of Dental Services. Marchand said she was no longer the representative of the Ministry Board, so those regular conversations they say is happening are really not happening. They went on to, but Martian have some gripes, right? Martian have some gripes. They went on further and further along this line. I want to note as well that Martian is quoted here as being a member of the Dental Board of Trinidad and Tobago and not the president of the board. Let me see if I could find out who is in charge of this board. dctt.org. Is it Dr. Rohit? Damendra Rohit? Asking that because I'm trying to figure out if Marchan is appointed to speak on behalf of the board, like a PR person or so, or what exactly is her role. Siobhan Marchand. Yeah, here it just says member of the board, right? The president of the board is listed here as Damendra Rohit, Secretary LMA Jurawan, Vice President Christopher Mao, and then you have Nikolai Rajkumar, all doctors, right? Nikolai Rajkumar, Larry Caldero, Siobhan Marchand, Jove Voisin, and Dinesh Martin. All of them members of the board. Good looking people too, damn good looking. Everybody here nice. All the hand-picking people based on looks out. Point again at is this, right? I am worried that our official statement coming out by the Dental Board of Trinidad and Tobago that is referring to people in this way, number one, casting aspersions about migrant workers as if it automatically means quacks. So migrant quacks, once you didn't register with the Dental Board of Trinidad and Tobago, you're automatically being classed as a quack. I don't like the term quacks at all, especially coming from this is our official board. These are people who are supposed to represent us. Also, because of my experience in the medical world, again, all is all kind of thing you're going through, I am 2 for 2 on surgeries that I feel didn't go right. One surgery was done by a migrant, right? And I'm not sure, man, we can just say, I was talking about him here a lot, right? Sergei Adonin. If you're paying attention, I was talking about him in the episodes while I was going through that. He's from Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken. But again, a partner of mine was playing with us. He's a surgeon as well. And he recommended this guy, which for the most part, medical professionals, most of their business comes from referrals, right? So I know Dylan, salute to Dr. Thomas, I know him well, and he was playing with us. He told me one time it was ruptured, the Achilles, while we were playing. And he referred me, he told me, well, this guy in Sinclair, I went and I met him, and I'll say this. That didn't end well, that surgery didn't end well. I had to do a next surgery a year later. I was in post-surgical care for almost a full year. But I will say that the experience with him was, I could not hope to go through that with somebody better than him. He made it easy, he explained everything as he go along, including areas where he felt unsure, uncertain, and I feel like we worked together to make sure my foot good and I could score goals, and still, you know what I mean, after yesterday I ain't sweating so long and it's still goals galore, right? Stone John levels are goals galore. And I felt good working with him. I'm not saying again that I don't know if he went through what needed to be go through. That I'm gonna fix my language. That's because of my mouth numb, right? Because when your mouth numb, you say went through what he had to go through. Let me assume that he did everything he needed to do for the medical profession in Trinidad and Tobago, because he also works in Port of Spain general and so on. So he would have gone through whatever registrations. So I want to class him as just migrant and quack, which I feel like this article tends to do for the layman. I'm not talking about me and you know who could read this and decipher what is happening, right? I'm just saying that an official board making a statement to official media, not on Twitter or Instagram or podcast or anything. They're talking to the Express. I would think that the dental board is more measured in the things that they say and take an approach that sounds like, well, we have had an influx of migrants over the years and it's difficult to measure or capture everybody who's practicing here. Trinidad and Tobago has an official way of becoming a dentist in this country, which is XYZ, and we are advising all Trinidad and Tobago nationals to check people's credentials, like know what it is. Don't go based on price, because the long-term effects of bad medical work, at its most brutal, it could be short-term. You could be out of here, right? If your medical work go bad, you could be going home. But again, you could also end up in a situation where, like me, and you had to go by a doctor. At a point in time, I was in Sinclair every other day. I want to tell you, that is not a nice thing. You see that? You want to talk about PTSD? And we just talking about that with Stacey the other day, about how I used to tell her, look at my foot. See, my foot remained open for must be 6 months. Open, the surgical wound opening back, right? Dealing with, and I saw a preaching to the choir here, right? Dealing with medical things gone bad is a rough road that could end really, really, really bad. Imagine a man telling you had to lose your, God forbid, right? So I just expected more when I read this article. I expected more measured statements, more thought going into this, than to have an article coming from a board that we supposed to have faith in. Because I don't know it have a dental board or neither, and until I know something go wrong with something happening with me with my dentist. My dentist is a reputable guy. People know his name, and he's been around for a long, long time, right? And as far as I'm concerned, he's saying the word difficult extraction, and I hearing all hell break loose. I want to be sure that if I really in a situation where somebody do something bad or do malpractice, then let me use that term, which is this is not the case. I don't feel this to be the case now, right? But if it was the case, and it affects my job, because I remember sitting there with him and I tell him, brother, paralysis on the side of my face is not something I can't explore that. I talk for a living. I can't talk on one side of my face. I can talk on one side of my mouth. I do that twice a week. But I mean, you understand? I have went through it with him and still I don't feel it anymore. So if I have somebody I have to go to based on this, it can't be a dental board that is so loose in the statements where I don't know if it's spokesperson, because nothing on Ms. Marcha name on the official website for the dental board saying like PR person. She's clearly not a PR person. A PR person probably would not make statements like this. And the dental board ought to hire somebody who is a PR person to make statements on their behalf if this is the best that they could come up with. This does not inspire confidence at all. And it seems like a personal attack, or it could be perceived to be a personal attack on people who did not go through the process in this country or who might be migrants and so on. Because you're not saying anywhere in this article that you also have local people who have not passed the exam and have not registered and operating in this way. You're not saying that anywhere. So are you telling me that all the quacks are from abroad? If that's what you want to say, there's an official measured way to say that as well, because you did the research as a board and you come out and say that. Anything other than that is conjecture and it don't come across right. This statement makes me very, very uncomfortable. Especially because if I have to report a local dentist to this board, I start to question, wait now, only fellas for one another. I just don't question that in these professions in Trinidad. I mean talking dentist alone, a dentist, doctor, lawyer. As far as I concern, these fellas is for one another, board or not. And I am of the belief that they go properly hide up wherever it is there to hide up to make things look in the favor of. In other words, can I get a fair case is what I say, and if this is the approach by this board. But again, 30 minutes or 40 minutes of dental work to start a podcast is wild. It's wild. But another 20 minutes on teeth is even more wild, because all you see what happened in Tobago. I couldn't believe it. I mean, from somebody who had no teeth like me whatsoever to a man who went through the most harrowing experience. I mean, if you had to imagine a worst case scenario and just going to the beach, something I said a couple of weeks ago, I said, I went to the beach with my son, me and him alone, went up earlier Sunday morning. We had such a good time. I say I want to do it often. Only for a shark, me only had 32 teeth. Shark had thousands of sharp teeth. And this man, reading from the Guardian here, shark attack victim on mend after surgeries. I want to send prayers to the family and everybody who's involved in this incident. Even the people who would have seen something like this is something else. But Mr. Smith, who went through this, is crazy. Let me read from the Guardian. Tobago shark victim Peter Smith is on the road to recovery after undergoing multiple surgeries at the Scarborough General Hospital since Friday. Last evening, Smith, 64, was in a stable condition after he underwent a blood transfusion. Doctors saved his limbs and wounds were closed and treated. The surgeries lasted over a little over 3 hours on Friday, sources told Guardian. The surgical team is, however, now preparing to determine the next step in his treatment. So, if I'm sure you would have followed this over wherever you live. It was pretty much the biggest story in Trinidad at the time. And I believe the last thing that I read on it was that he was air ambulanced back to London. I know they had moved him from Tobago to Trinidad at one point in time, but I believe that he's back home, seeing about his injuries and so on. If my memory serves me right. Oh no, they say he was airlifted out to Tobago at approximately 12:05 on Tuesday morning, arriving in Miami at 3:51. He's now in the care of medical professionals at Jackson Memorial in Miami, Florida. So I just want to take a quick minute. I don't know why I clap for that. Sorry. I'm clapping for that because of where he is, and I'm assuming he will get the best care possible, right? And I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge that and say how unfortunate that story is, and how unlucky it could be. And it made me like look into shark attacks as a whole, like, because I remember being down with my father, and one of the first things he says, he says shark attack in Tobago. Well, he no longer going back to Tobago, you know what I mean? They're talking about a man who like, I never seen a man coward, so he decided he's not going back to Tobago at all, as if Tobago had no land, nothing. I mean, what's going on? Now, the thing about this shark attack, right? I'm looking at from Florida Museum, and Florida is the place from this article that I read that has the most shark attacks. They usually separate it into unprovoked versus provoked bites, meaning, well, as they say here, unprovoked bites are defined as incidents in which a bite on a live human occurs in the shark's natural habitat with no human provocation of the shark. After assuming that what happened in Tobago would be classified as unprovoked. Whereas a provoked bite occurs when humans initiate interaction with the shark in some way. These include instances when divers are bitten after harassing or trying to touch sharks, or bites on spear fishermen, bites on people who are attempting to feed sharks, bites occurring while unhooking or removing a shark from a fishing net, and so on and so on. So there's a global record, there's a global repository of shark bites. I suppose it's like plane crashes, you know, it's such a big incident that people will pay attention when it happens. The truth about it is, from what I've read, the hammerhead shark, they call it, the one that attack people in Tobago, which coincidentally them meant for a $10,000 bounty. I think just like the Dental Board, the THA, anybody, once you're in the public space, hire good PR people now, I know some people who do PR and thing, well, you want to call me and get some names, because responses to these things not great. 10,000 for the shark, that's just to join the wave and create people in a frenzy for no reason, right? They eventually retracted that $10,000 reward, right? But that was a little bit ridiculous on several counts. But it seems as though this hammerhead shark is the most is the one where you get the most unprovoked attacks, and several theories coming out for that, right? So some of the theories being like things like turtles, that basically these sharks would typically try to chase after. I see a man do a video too that say somebody who owned the land where turtles would normally nest, he put a kind of stream or some kind of drain running back to the thing, which the little turtles or the eggs and thing running back into the sea and attracting these kind of sharks. All conjecture. I don't know if any of that is true, but he showed you in video where he thought that could have been the reason for the attack. And you see in that is it bull shark or hammer shark? Whichever one it was in Tobago, they're saying that one is the one that most frequently involved in unprovoked bites. And the truth is that it's never been fatal. They've never had a fatality with that. They say the fatality usually is great white sharks. And Florida is the one with the most, in any type of shark, I think, followed by Australia in these kind of attacks. So while the chances of that happening are extremely low, I think whenever it happens, the consequences are so dire, you know what I mean? It's such a harsh and a brutal thing to go through. I can't imagine it. If I had to guess, it's like bathing in the sea. You wouldn't even know what happened. You just know something hit you real hard. Because the first thing you feel is something hit you. You mightn't even feel the cuts or the bite. But when that thing started taking in salt water, and just the trying to get away from it, because let me tell you something. If me and you and a shark attack you, amazing grace, yes, amazing grace, and blessed be thy name, and blessed assurance, and what you know what I mean, one by one, and the road on the other side, and the hope is clear, and the Savior does on the other shore. When the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. Oh, when the roll is called up yonder, I'm not helping you. I can't do it. I out. Every man for themselves. Anytime a shark bite involved, somebody had to tell his story. Somebody, and a man tell this story. I couldn't find the clip before I come here, but a man say, shark very unlikely to come Markos due to bacon shark. And I think the man blasted right. I think only Papi showing the man was very right in what it is. Only feel these sharks stupid, only feel these sharks and smelling their ancestors in the waters. The shark fully well know what is to come here, and they're not putting themselves through that. Them shark and them say, boy, for me to end up with tamarind sauce, set a tamarind sauce all over me and garlic sauce and all these things, they ain't going through that. But listen, as I said, for the sake of regular talk breaks, for me to rest my mouth and never eat so much lollipops, so much icicles in my life. But in order to get some icicles up in me and make sure that my jaw good, and I don't ever had to call the Dental Board of Trinidad and Tobago for nothing, I would like to play you my second selection of talking songs for this episode, which is dedicated to that lifeguard in Markos who said that shark would not come to Markos due to bacon sharks.
Where ignorance is bliss, it's folly to be wise. But is a dumb boy and a parrot, open my eyes. In the morning when I gone to work and leave me house, like my girlfriend used to entertain she boyfriend rouse. Every evening I would feed this parrot red pepper, and the dumb boy used to get a half of my supper. We became friends because I was kind, and this is how they trying to tell me in pantomime. The boy said, ooh, ah, ee, oh, oh, and he pointing straight at me back door. Hey, 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 the parrot say, walla, walla, bing, bang, in there. I didn't stop to study this boy too well, and the story that the parrot trying to tell. I'm coming home from work as usual this day, and my girlfriend tried to greet me in the usual way. But like she fed the man my whiskey and got him drunk, so she hide him in the bathroom in my bathing trunk.
Yes.
And as I reach in, she plant a kiss on my mouth. The parrot stoops and the dumb boy cock up his snout. He start again, ooh, ah, boom, boom, boom. And he pointing straight at the bathroom. Hey, 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 Lorito say, walla, walla, bing, bang, in day. I came home next evening about 10:30, and it was kinda late to feed my pantomime friend. I reached in the yard, the parrot started to bawl. The boy sleeping, but the parrot won't sleep at all. So I fed him some red pepper in a butter pan. He so vexed, man, he pelting, bite at me hand. The dumb boy wake up when the parrot said, look, something pointed growing out from your forehead. He start again, ah, af, af, af. Man, the parrot bust out a big laugh. Hey, 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 Lorito say, walla, walla, bing, bang, today. At length and at last, I finally saw why this boy was only pointing at my back door. I surprised them by passing in the back road, and as I coming in, the boyfriend was going out.
Yes.
But this is something I couldn't understand. He had something like a chicken leg in his hand. So I went in the kitchen and peeped in the brew, not realizing I was gazing at parrot stew. The boy said, ah, eh, eh, eh. Meaning he ain't want no food today. Hey, hey, hey. My girlfriend say you eat walla walla bing bang today.
That's the voice of the great Lord Christo on Matchable Lord Crystal. Story like hell in Calypso. You can't go wrong. Next story in Trinidad and Tobago is this, right? As we hear. A man who call himself, I want to make sure I get names right and things. I'm trying to do better in life, because I have a way of starting to talk about these things and then not be sure about the people's name. The name on the Instagram is The Pilgrimage of Life, right? Remember the name is Tilo? A white boy walking across Trinidad. That could be a topic for Calypso, right? Should I write a case about this? Because the white boy come, he's 20 years old, looking like 45, and he say he gonna walk from the westmost, the eastmost, northeastmost point of Toko, all the way down to southwestmost point of, where that is, Galiota or Granville or somewhere down on that side, wherever it is down on the southwestern peninsula, right? He walking across Trinidad and Tobago, and the goal is to walk across with no money at all and no food or anything like that, and depend completely on the help of strangers on his pilgrimage, right? I like the backstory. See, he was a kind of nerdy fella in school, wasn't really fitting in, and then he studied this, he studied that, almost like, your parents have you doing what you need to do to become a better person kind of thing. And then as he reached 18 and he started to make decisions for himself, his first thing was to say, all right, I'm going to do something for me, to find myself. And one of the things he chose as a German is to come and walk across Trinidad. And this on social media has been gaining, both on Instagram. I want to tell you that he was not a big Instagram influencer or anything when he came here, right? Or a big influencer at all. He had not a whole lot of followers, a couple hundred followers, I believe, if that. And he started this. And in no time at all, the thing started catching traction, right? I believe when he started the walk, I don't know how he reached Toko, if he walk up the walk back out. But the radio station in Toko picked it up, and people in Toko were supporting him and cheering him on as he went along and so on. And it started to get traction in mainstream media and so on. You're finding more and more articles being written about it. Not just mainstream media, but also so when I say mainstream media, I mean like Guardian, Express, and these people, right? They carry it. But also the very big social media people, like the News Before News and MYOB, which is kind of starting to become like mainstream media now in their own way. Not as credible, but definitely mainstream. Most people follow or see those pages as well. And they covering it and we're showing it, right? So it's Tilo Cruz, and I'm reading from the Guardian here. For those who might not heard about it yet, they say German man showcasing good in T&T, robbed on walk from Toko to Kaka. So of course, by day 2 or day 3, this man say he get robbed. Now, I want to tell you, I don't really believe him. I could say that it's okay to say that because I don't too much believe him. His story look real. In other words, when you from all the experience I see in this country, when you're robbed in this country, you are robbed. There's no, it's not too much a near miss in this country. Whether they come to take your phone, they come to take your camera, they come to take your money, whatever it might be. When you're in this country and you get robbed, you're robbed. You're losing something. And these days with crime going, you could only hope that is all you get when you get robbed in this country. All again where you're coming from. Because I also saw an article saying that Jowelle, you'll follow Jowelle? Jowelle De Souza was robbed at a home, right? I'm not comparing these two stories, but I want to read from the Guardian before I go through this man walking across Trinidad, because I have a lot of assumptions about this guy walking across Trinidad, both about him and about us as a society. And the conclusion I come into on both ends is that I am wrong, right? But I want to go to Jowelle here. Activist Jowelle De Souza assaulted and robbed during home invasion. Bruised and battered after being attacked during a harrowing home invasion involving 5 gunmen, former UNC Senator and animal activist Jowelle De Souza expressed sadness at the state of Trinidad and Tobago, saying she felt numb from the experience. Despite showing visible signs of the attack, which occurred on around 7:25 on Wednesday, De Souza still went to her business place here by Jowelle at Independence Avenue, San Fernando, to console her employees, many of whom cried upon her in the ideal ordeal. I don't cry. While police stepped up in the manhunt for assailants, De Souza said she left both distraught and determined to overcome her experience. I've weathered many storms before and I will come out of this better and more resilient. I will bounce back and continue to help search for these people, she said, even as tears glistened in her eyes. I just want to go into my own house, crawl into my room, and wish that I never come back out of that house. De Souza said the gunmen came to her Meadow Drive Palmas home and entered through an unlocked door on the northern side of the property. One of the bandits, described as 5 foot 3 inches tall, you too short to teeth. 5'3". You breaking in people's place, but they must use he to climb through burglar proofing and things little child out. With a dark complexion and slim build, wearing a red t-shirt and black three-quarter jeans. That was a long jeans. I sure it's a long jeans. The three-quarter fits in like a long jeans. Was holding a gun. They assaulted De Souza before binding her hands and feet with tie straps. The assailants then proceeded to ransack the premises. They stole a safe containing documents as well as an array of luxury items, including Louis Vuitton handbags and 2 Apple iPads. The total value of stolen items is yet to be ascertained. De Souza said she had not yet tabulated what was stolen from the house. They took my safe with all my documents and my will and other items. She had hoped that the perpetrators could be caught. De Souza added, I leave this all in the hands of whoever could solve it. It is really taking a toll on me. But I've come back from worse than this. Let's hope they capture these people. De Souza, the vice president of Animals Alive, has spent her life rescuing dogs around the country. She's also a philanthropist who supports several charities and gives free training at her salon in San Fernando. So that's the story I was reading about Jowelle. I mean, you know Jowelle to be an animal activist. We also know Jowelle to be one of the first, at least publicly or widely known transgenders or openly transgender in the country. And the comments on Instagram and things seem to be more about the fact that Jowelle transgender and why the papers calling him a she or she a him, and if it's a it, and I didn't realize we were still in that era or still during. I thought we passed them things. And when I say past them things, I'm not saying past those things where you have changed your position on whether transgender should be referred to as this, that, or the other. I'm talking about past the point where it really don't matter. Because if you decide whatever your position is or my position is on transgender, and whether that position comes from religion or my own feelings or my view of the world, I think we will know we pass this as a people when it really matters. Once you ain't change my gender or you ain't do nothing that I don't want to do, you could do whatever it is you want. So people still seem to be hung up on the fact that the Guardian or the Express or the different blog sites calling Jowelle she. No use to that discussion for me. And you know, the truth too is that the listeners to this part, I kind of know how all they feel too, so I don't want to get too deep into that, right? The article call her what she call her, and I call her what I call her too. You call her what you want to call her, right? Moral of the story is not what she is what she went through. Because that Palmas area has been through several home invasions like this. Several. It is becoming common. And Palmas is I want to say upper scale, what you want to call it, higher end real estate in the country. Is like the south of a little golden triangle between Gulfview, Palmas, and Bel Air. So the assumption is that, like Jowelle, the people who live in Palmas do well. They figure something out in life and they do well at it, and they make some good money and they buy some good property, which I aspire to. And I would think most of the people in this podcast, some aspire to it and some done there already. All they done reach. You understand where I come from? And this is why I've been talking about here all the time now. I've been talking about this for a long time. You see, Joelle's attitude towards this, I admire. Because I don't know that I could have an attitude where I went through something like this. A stranger, a short stranger, a buck, come and tie me up in my house at gunpoint and take my things and go their way. I want to migrate. I want to live. Maybe I should stop saying that way, because it's not something I feel that I'm mentally prepared to survive, and maybe I should stop putting it out there and talking about it so much, because it's a fear of mine. Outside of all the other things that could happen to you here, this idea that somebody could kick in your wife and your child, that is a scary thought. And the approach to this being, we will get them and I've been through worse and so on, that is admirable to me. That's admirable to me. And this is the moral of the story is, in Trinidad and Tobago, when you come to rob you, you're going to be robbed. You will. Imagine they take your safe. She probably have in the safe will and deed and all them kind of things, if I am to make an assumption about that. Maybe money and jewelry and them things too, but the documents in there. if not irreplaceable, they're extremely difficult to replace. But so you had to go through by all kind of thing now to get back your documents and thing. Listen, headache of the highest order. Flashing back now to my boy who walking from Toko and saying he get robbed. Where he show you a kind of scene where he do a blanket roll and he thing out in the bush and he phone thing and the phone fly and the fellas run and then he spend the whole day in the police station and so on. I'm wondering how much of that is youths, because this boy is 20 years old. Just remember what's happening when he's 20. You ain't fully formed yet at 20. I'm wondering how much of that is social media games to play things to get more followers and get more traction for your thing, and how much of that is really getting robbed. Because number one, he's being filmed. I'm not sure if he's walking with somebody, like he bring a cameraman or a brethren with him to film him, or if along the way he asking somebody to hold his phone and film for him. But wherever it is, you say you get robbed, so the next person who film him, if it's not his cameraman, we had to take that person had to take his word for it. The police had to take his word for it and so on and go through the thing. But just remember, when this is not me being a skeptic, this is me reading too much articles about Justice Smollett getting robbed and MAGA hat and rope around his neck and all these kind of things and getting robbed, and I know what it could do for your public profile when you went through them kind of things. So the flip side to that, so it was a little bit embarrassing and as a country when you see the boy start his pilgrimage and so on, and by day 2 he get robbed. Of course the comments went off that like, yeah, I don't know, is he really Trinidad, and the point was to show that Trinidad's safe and the people good and all those types of things, which I would say that at this point he reached real far, right? I think he reached south, if I'm not mistaken, like deep south. And the last version I saw him post was where the search and rescue, the hunter search and rescue group was walking with him and giving him kind of like protection, basically, where there are 2 cars in front of him, 2 cars behind him, and they walking with him with a cutlass and all kind of thing, you know what I mean? Just to make sure that he's safe going through. And they did say that what they have him safe, what they want to keep him safe from is not so much people, but safe from the hazards of nature and so on. Maybe from shark and them things, they want to shark bite him and that types of things. But what I've seen from viewing him, and where I tell you I feel I was wrong, right, is that the point I was coming here to make is that we don't like we own. That a white boy could come from Germany and walk from Toko to Kaka safe like hell and walk through the whole country, and everybody could show love and carry sandwich, and he had so much snacks that he had to set up a snack stall to be able to give away snacks to people when they pass me, because he had too much to carry. People started to give him money. A man pass, he have 100. A matter of fact, he had to come back and say, listen, I gain away the money. I think he take the money and he buy snacks to give to people, because the point was to walk without money. People coming just to meet him and share their story with him and be kind to him and share kindnesses and that kind of thing, right? And which is a beautiful thing to see. That is very Trinidadian. That is the same thing will happen if you walk through Tobago. That is very much a part of our culture, being giving and loving and kind and helping people in need. And I think that is a huge part of our culture. To foreigners, to white people. When you see foreigners come here, they could get that kind of treatment. But sometimes we don't treat our own like that, because I was looking at a fellow by the name of Mark Hippolyte. I want to salute to Mark Hippolyte, right? I was looking at his Facebook, and he does pilgrimages of sort as well, where he is walking through or doing hikes, right? He's do walks, hikes, all those different types of things. But last year, I think 2023, his goal was to go up El Takush 100 times. I wanted to understand that it only have 365 days in a year, and this man went up El Takush 100 times. This is something also that I said I would start doing more of, like I want to hike and, you know what I mean, learn the thing and do more outdoors. And me I do one, but this man went El Takush 100 times, along with all the other hikes and walks that he do over the year. And he have a crew of people following him to make a nice little cake for him. He do the 100 time, and his goal was to make 100. I believe he make 120 something, because he keep going. If I had make the 100, I'd done hike for life. But he kept going, and I was just comparing these two things in my mind. Like, how come everybody know this German youth who walking across Trinidad, but nobody don't know who is Mark Hippolyte? You know, he don't have that public media attention or that blog attention or the average person knowing who he is. I wonder sometimes if when he walking here, people stopping him to tell him they support him about their own journey and to give him kiss cake and give him a hunji and them types of things. I wonder sometimes if we really love our own people, or if we just hate ourselves and we love foreigners. You know what I mean? I wonder if Mark Hippolyte could get Hunters Rescue Association to walk with him going on. But I realize I might be wrong about that. Because if I was to talk to somebody like Mark Hippolyte, which I intend to do, right, or people like the Hunters Rescue Association and people like that, you might find that what the theory really might be is that we are so kind to ourselves on a day-to-day and on a normal basis that it cannot make the news. It's only make the news because it's a foreigner, but it's such the norm that it's just not newsworthy. So if I, for instance, say I'm going to walk across Trinidad with no money, no help, no nothing, I may not get the type of social media attention that I get because I from here and I walking across and go say, you're damn fool, you're walking across the rubber ding ding, walking across the whole country, taking wet and bathing in rain and sun. For what? It's para a song what I know, it's para say an old man, a little boy and a donkey was walking across the country. I'm going to play that for you before I leave too, right? But, you know, it's not newsworthy because we're from here and we know what it is and so on. But I suspect that I will have the same kindness or kindnesses afforded to me. I remember recording an episode a couple months ago that talked about the multi-religious, multi-racial, multi-ethnic society that Trinidad is and the uniqueness of Trinidad and Tobago because we don't just have all these things, we partake in all these things. And it's like this youth man walked from Toko, and within the first 3 or 4 days, he's sleeping at church and a mandir. He get blessed by a Baptist leader. You understand? He eat food with the police. You understand? It's such. Maybe in my initial thoughts, I wasn't given enough credit to the way our society really works. I want to hear your thoughts on that. You know, if you were to make that kind of a walk, you don't think you will end up with that same kind of experience that this German had? Just again, nobody in putting you on social media because you number one, you're looking like a Trini. Nothing about you looking unique enough for us to say we're gonna put it out there in any kind of way. But I do feel as if those kindnesses, like, and you see it a lot if you stay in Tong too much. When I say Tong, Port of Spain, Scarborough, Chaguanas, San Fernando, or Rima. If you stay there a little too much, you might get a false sense of Trinidadianness. But when you go out in the country and people share their food with you and you go to pick mango and a man thing and nobody make no fuss and you live like that, you might be able to remind yourself what Trinidad and Tobago is really like. I always have this experience going to my arrow, right? And I want to feel like a country boy somehow. I don't know what about me could ever pass for a country boy. But I remember the last time I went to my arrow, Daddy and my whole family, we went for a weekend. And I was walking out from the house to go by the fishing village. I like to go in the fishing village and get some fish and them thing, you know what I mean? Partake in the village. And when I was walking, going, a fella walking, coming down the road, and I say, all right, man, and he say, all right, man, enjoy my arrow, eh? I say, all right, man, thanks, I appreciate it. And I didn't like that, you know. I said, what the hell you mean enjoy my arrow? Like, if me from here, but the tongue is written all over my face. He know fully well, me from nowhere looking like country, my hands soft. But you're more likely to have that kind of interaction where somebody just say, enjoy it. He's just happy to have me there. And I feel like that is more of how we are as Trinbagonians. Sometimes we just happy to have somebody here and to share with them and to partake and break bread with them and so on. So, long and short of this story is I had to call myself a hypocrite and I'm going back to my talking songs to do such.
Yeah! Revelation! He promised the fire next time. And who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Talk the talk, you mocking pretender. I check your lyrics and I'm come to test you. Far too long, you're fooling the children, telling the head when wash education. Doom Doomsday reach, why plan to retreat? Cause the children coming to take back the street. The power of the word in the conscious styling.
Paving the way for a brand new morning.
I say the power of the word in the rap so styling.
Rocking the roots of the vampire system.
Talk it talk.
You mocking pretender.
Talk it talk.
You bloody deceiver.
Talk it talk.
You serpent master.
Talk it talk.
You friggin' oppressor.
La da di da 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 da. La da di da da da. La da di da 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 da. La da di da 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 da. La da di da da da. La da di da 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 da.
Stuttering talk is a stumbling walk, so you better make sure that you're walking your talk. Stuttering talk is a stumbling walk, so you better make sure you're walking your talk. Talk your talk, mocking pretender. I check your lyrics and I come to test you. Far too long, you're running the session, you're feeding your ego, creating impression. Well, judgment come, we dropping the bomb, boy. Run, you run, now it's Armageddon. The power of the word in the conscious styling.
Paving the way for a brand new morning.
The power of the word in the rap so styling.
Rocking the roots of the vampire system.
Talk your talk.
You mocking pretender.
Talk your talk.
You bloody deceiver.
Talk your talk.
You serpent master.
Talk your talk.
You friggin' oppressor.
La da di da 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 da. La da di da da da. La da di da 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 da.
Right down to the heart of the matter where reality bites and illusion shatter. Right down to the heart of the matter. Desire go bust and reality scatter. He promised to fire next time. He promised to fire next time. He promised, he promised, he promised, he promised, he promised the fire next time.
Next time.
And who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Talk your talk, you mocking pretender. Check your lyrics and I come to test you. Far too long, you're fooling the children, filling the head with way much education. Doomsday reach, time you retreat. The children coming to take back the street. The power of the word in the conscious styling. I say the power of the word in the rap so styling.
Rocking the roots of the vampire system.
Talk your talk.
You mocking pretender.
Talk your talk.
You bloody deceiver.
Talk your talk.
You serpent master.
Talk your talk.
You friggin' oppressor.
La da di da 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 da. La da di da da da. La da di da 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 da.
What is the matter? I can't seem to stop this ceaseless chatter. Chatter, 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 only wrong in my head. Oh Lord, like they want me to dead. Everybody talking, nobody listening. Oh my God, what really happening? Chatter, chatter, chatter. Chatter, chatter, chatter. What is the matter? Chatter, chatter, chatter. The ceaseless chatter going right down to the heart of the matter. Everybody talking, nobody listening. Everybody talking, nobody listening.
Talk it up. Great Tree Canal, right? Great Tree Canal. Listen, 200 episodes, and maybe that's the first time I ever played a Tree Canal. Is what have I been doing? What have I been up to? That is a lot of time wasted for one of the greatest groups, if not the greatest group in Calypso in history. I must have played a Tree Canal before. Let me remind me now. I can't remember, but there must be an episode dedicated to the greatness that is Tree Canal. I want to move on to more youths and more greatness here. Investors go after influencer for $500,000 claim Ponzi scheme. A pre-action produced from Alexander Bruzal, I want to say in the Express, right? A pre-action protocol letter has been sent to social media influencer Israel Markos surrounding allegations of fraud. Several individuals, namely Kavita Raghunandan, Kumar Simangal, Kumar Sigulam, Ashley Sigumal, Vitra Maraj, aka Vitra Maraj Sigulam, Kavita Maharaj, Suresh Maharaj, and Savita Maharaj, all them is Maharaj, right? Have engaged the services of Kamina Ramraj, okay, sorry, Kamina Ramraj and Joseph Suku to treat with the matter. The letter which is dated April 12th and signed by Ramlal has listed Mark, aka Israel Xavier Enrique Mark, as well as Christina Amon and Markos Global Limited as defendants in the matter. The writing smaller, I had to fight up with me here, you know what I mean? In the letter, it was alleged that the claimants had paid various funds between April 1st and July 5th, 2023, which amounted to $550,000 to Markos Global Limited as part of an investment program done by the company. In the recent past and leading up to the events stated in this letter, You have described yourself as a millionaire at 22 years old, operating a business that you scaled up to 6 figures monthly, and otherwise as someone who has bolstered his reputation on social media stunts involving acts of purported charity in response to goodwill shown to you by strangers. In particular, while you have portrayed yourself as a wealthy and successful businessman, both your businesses and or the means by which you accrued your alleged wealth have been reported vague, unsubstantiated, and otherwise uncorroborated. Let me read that again, right? If I know how to read. The way you have acquired your wealth has been reported vague, unsubstantiated, and otherwise uncorroborated. You didn't want to check this before you put $500,000 into this youth, man. The claimants are a group of friends and family members who over during the period of April 1st, good day to start, 2023, and July 5th, 2023, paid various sums between the amounts of $25,000 and $100,000 each into a scheme otherwise known as Moolah Caribbean. Now, I want to say this, right? I spent some time on this on an episode some time ago praising this youth, man, because he was on social media talking about the very things that they say in here, right? Saying that he was able to, or explaining how he was able to amass his wealth. He drives several very high-end vehicles and shows off high-end real estate and that kind of thing. Young fella, 22 years old, black man like me, and he doing good. I will always feel good about that, right? I will always give the benefits of the doubt where that is concerned. So I spent some time talking about him on the episode and basically saying, like, what if this man do good? And he came out and said he does digital marketing, right? Coincidentally, I have a class in digital marketing now. I want to tell his students in that digital marketing class that the likelihood of you starting a business scaling up to $100,000 a month, US dollars is what you're talking about. That is difficult, right? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult. But if it's anybody who I feel could do it, is these youths now, because they have found avenues to earn revenue that we didn't have access to. I don't think we would have think of it or would have access to it, and we couldn't get it done. For instance, being YouTubers, social media influencers, and so on. These youths living in a different time now. Globally, if you go and look at the stats now, they have more young self-made millionaires now than any other time in history. That will probably continue to be the case as we go along, right? Because they have more avenues for them to go direct to consumer and several different reasons, right? But they're doing good. So I see the youth man doing good. He driving sweet and thing. And in my very simple mind, it is very difficult to fake that for very long. So once I see you doing it, I say, nice, that is good. If that is how you get through with it and you're helping other people do it, great. What I will also say, I can't remember if I said this in the episode then, is that it's going to be very hard for this 22-year-old to get $25,000 out of my dollars. What's yet $500,000 out of me and my friends' dollars to invest in anything named Moolah Caribbean. I could be glad for you from a distance. I am not one of those people who see people who are very successful. I celebrate people who succeed, but it's not like I want a slice of it. I don't have that in me. And maybe that's why I will be naive and be glad for them and assume that they're not under no scheme and thing, because if they're under scheme, it's not going to affect me, because it's not like if Markos reach at 22 and driving Porsche and them kind of thing. I drive a Civic, right? And I okay with my Civic. I glad that this youth man driving, but I don't want to take my Civic money and put it in that and then end up having to walk across Trinidad and Tobago and get so-and-so robbed. Not me. I good with my little Civic. I like my little, you see, I have a little polo shirt. I like my little polo shirt. I like brand name things. No, I cannot afford Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Alexander McQueen. I cannot afford them things. And I okay not affording them. I living in a flat house, 3-bedroom HGC style. I like my house bad. I like home here. I love my home. You understand? I don't watch what people have and envy. I'm not saying that these people envy us. I'm just saying that I don't really envy what people have. I'll watch what people and I aspire to be like them. When I see Markos doing it, I say, boy, I like that. I like how he get through with them thing. When I look at what he's doing, I say, boy, that is not something I could necessarily do or I'm willing to do at this point in time. You know what I mean? But a glad fame. That's kind of where my aspiration or view of that stops until I get more information about you. So I remember people telling me back then when I did the episode, is like, boy, you're naive now. You could see he's a scammer. How you making that kind of money? Somebody asked me at the time, how long you in business now? I say about 15, 20 years. He say, you driving a Porsche and living. I was like, no. And listen, I'll be frank. We not close. I'm not close to it either. You know, it's not like if on the route to that and I could see my way to 2 Range Rover and a Porsche. Nowhere close to it at this point in time, right? Do I think I will get there? Yeah, that's the intention. I don't know if I like cars enough to go and say I buying and driving no Porsche and them kind of things, but I only know me enough. 1% is the goal. That's the intention. I want to be generationally wealthy, whether I here to see it or not. But so they tell me I'm naive and I'm watching Markos and I'm 22. You ain't achieve these things at 44, but this 22-year-old all of a sudden I was like, well, why not? But apparently, and everything now is still alleged because Markos, of course, says he's done nothing wrong. And he even on social media making more comments on stories and them kind of thing, basically saying things that when you're young, but if it's me and I in court for something, I'm not talking about that at all. I frighten like hell. I talking to the lawyer. I frighten all when I write. You know what I mean? I don't like court and all this sort of battle. I don't like it. But he basically come out and do a video the other day, and when he talk, he's real snort and sniff. It's a little annoying. So yeah, I've never seen anything as annoying as that, to be honest. I don't know how you can invest in somebody. If you're snorting so much, I'm not investing. I don't have no money. Invest in a Vicks, invest in an inhaler, you know what I mean? Invest in some Claritin. But these people went and invested this man. And he basically, while they have already reported on this lawsuit, coming on and saying people don't understand what investment is and people just want to get into investments as if they can lose, which is true. Anything that you're investing in, equity investments, right? Once you're investing in a company and those, you stand to lose you can lose all your money. Everything that you invest in a venture, you could lose. Do we enter into it with the intention to lose? No. But the possibility is that you could lose. The possibility is that you could lose. So there's always that risk, and it's why the financial advisors, anybody in finance will tell you a portfolio is where you want to what you want to get to with your money. So if you have $500,000 among a group of friends, people will tell you that like people like Nick Dean, salute my boy Prevat, salute my boy Hinks, and all them fellas in finance, they will probably advise you that most of that pie, that $500,000 pie, should be put into safe and recoverable liquid investments like bonds and so on that going to pay a certain amount of money a year and interest, and you can't lose it. Meaning, you want to grow the 500 into $1 million, yes. But what you don't want to do is put it in things that's so risky that you end up losing the 500 and you go nowhere. So they will tell you put 60, 70% in bonds and T-bills and these kind of things. Put X amount into stocks and shares of reputable companies, and they will take it. They will tell you take a slither of the pie, slither like a diet kind of slither. Like when you see you want to lose weight, and they tell you take a slither of cheesecake. Them fellas will tell you take a slither of your pie and put that into your own business and risky ventures and so on. Better you grow that, because a lot of people who talk about finance like to say high risk, high reward. When that is not. That is not actually the statement, right? The statement is high risk, high potential reward. Somehow people forget that word potential in the mix. You have a high potential reward, but you also have a higher probability that you will lose part thereof or all your money. But to these people, I hope all you get through it, Markos. I hope you ain't do nothing wrong. I hope everybody become whole, and what's on praise for everybody in that situation, right? But the statement that's standing out to me here is where all the lawyers say that your reporting of your wealth is vague and unsubstantiated and uncorroborated. And I want to know where along the line all you realized this, when all you was putting $25,000 at a time to reach 500,000. I also want to know, like, if you have a 500, and there's poor people speak, right? It's because I don't have it. If I have 500, right? why I giving Markos that? Like, there's no chance. If I have 500 now, I go in by Hingston and them fellas and T-bill the hell out of that 500, you know, because that is good, proper money to me. That is a down payment for a very big house. That is savings I could leave. I could put away that for Zachary. I go and put that 500,000 in Massey. Them kind of shares and give them a little dividends and live all right. But people is people. Another young black entrepreneur that I like to look at a lot on social media is a fellow by the name of Geo Designs, right? If you know Geo Designs, is a fellow who is always going around selling clothes and his brand name things, his name is his Geo Designs, right? And he's always say, people want the goods. I can't eat in peace. They call him for the goods. And then he's showing a jersey and he collect his money. He said, don't give me no money. Check the goods. Make sure your goods thing. I like the fella vibe a lot. I never buy anything from Geo Designs, right? Which will change. I'll change that. But I like the fact that he built his own brand and he promoting his thing and thing. When I see things like that, my first instinct is not scam. My first instinct is, like what my first instinct was with Markos, you're doing good. So glad for you. Glad somebody get through that. And I have a shoe I have here. Let me see if I could find it. Yeah, Paula Stacy must he move it. I have a shoe here. It's called Classics Republic. Little Trinidadian youths, they design a thing. They design for a brand I like called Saya Collective. I wear their shoes all the time. A fella in California who's do his own brand. And Classic Republics had, I think they won a competition with him designing. He had put out a kind of design for his shoes and gave other shoe designers the opportunity to compete by submitting their designs. They won something in that, and they have their shoes. We'll try to see if I have it on hand for the next episode. I think I showed it here already. I like things like that. I like a man who get through it something and figure out something in business. It's so hard to do. When you see somebody winning and do good with it, I want to celebrate it one time, but apparently not everybody, because I saw on Geo Design's page today, and as he would usually do, giving out his rental cars or his brand, and I'm so glad for this brother. I want to see him become the next Alexander McQueen, Ralph Lauren. I want to see him do great, and I could be proud to say that he's a Trini, you know what I mean? That man do good. All this was leading to material Trinidadians hate one another. But on his Instagram, he posts a conversation or some comments between him and somebody by the name of Frank Drew. And while he posting his thing and in out the jersey and thing, Frank Drew posts, washing some good money there, boy. I have a special respect for people who's hate at that level. And I was like, what? So he respond and say hater. And Frank Drew say, me ain't hating on your game. But no way Trinidadians have enough Geo Designs apparel to justify certain things they're claiming. Else a bigger conglomerate would have bought Geo Designs and you just working on commissions. What the hell are you hearing, boy? People, I want to read that again. This is crazy to me that the people is thinking that way. Me ain't hating on your game. But no way Trinidadians have enough Geo Designs apparel to justify certain things you're claiming. Else a bigger conglomerate would have bought Geo Designs and you just working on commission. So you're trying to say that even if he was that successful, somebody would have buy business from him now and tell him an employee. This had nothing to do with how you see in Geo, you know, this is how you see in yourself. He said, I applaud this guys. Just if the right people recognize it, it's gonna be an issue for you and your financier. No hating, no hating here, just applause. I so confused. Let me get your applause, because that's special. Geo posted and he say, been grinding so hard and making the right financial decisions, and still have people like this that think I'm doing something illegal. What are they thinking about this clown? It's just so interesting to see how people think and how people, you going about your life good and you trying to, and Geo, a part of his brand, he had advertise on social media and make his advertising is people actually buying from him, collecting the thing. People started to come up now, it's telling him about what he good. People buying it for the experience he created when he delivered the products, which is part of, I teach in that in digital marketing now. That is not just about the product you sell, it's about the experience that you could create for people, because anybody could make a brand name jersey. A matter of fact, any brand name you make now, I could get a replica of that brand name that is going to be very, very hard for you to differentiate, certainly from a distance and even up close in some cases. I was talking to a partner recently who told me he have a collection of high-end watch replicas. And he was even saying that when he carried them in to change the battery and them kind of thing, he said some watch aficionados or aficionados can't tell that is a replica until they open it and they go look inside. So Geo Designs making shoes or jerseys or hats and them kind of things, that very replicable is what I'm saying. What is not easy to copy is the brand experience. And a part of his brand experience is he come out in an umbrella, he say, come out in my umbrella, rain falling, and when you get wet, come and check your goods for yourself. Take your goods for yourself. He bought 5 shades and he say, pick your shades, what you feeling for. One time he had earbuds. He say, what you feeling for, the teal or the black, what you feeling for. And it man creates a whole vibe around his brand that is impossible to replicate. Anybody could make earbuds, not anybody could make Geo. So I don't understand this notion or this mentality that you could just ups and decide, and not just ups and decide in your heart and in your mind, no, ups and decide and have enough time and strength and willingness to post that man. Instead of you telling man, boy, I'm so glad you're doing it. Ask him, say, boy, how you do this, boy? How you make? I want to make jersey and thing too. My experience has been that other people who doing things successfully, right? Like you say, you know somebody's a fat promoter and you want to throw fat. A lot of times, just ask a man, just see the fat promoter, like see Jules somewhere and just ask him, Don't doubt the power of that. You will find people who they don't have the time to talk to you, or they don't want to make the time, or they're not interested in trying to help you or anything like that. But I want to tell you that just like that fella who walking from Trinidad, from Toco to South, most Trinidadians is good people who are real willing to help. If you have you bunks of Jules, you bunks of Sheppy and them, what's the other fellas in any one of the Kyrie people, you bunks up Hoppy, you want to know about radio station and you're like, just ask them. Just ask them. You might get, somebody might tell you no, and what you want to know that for, they don't have the time, which is understandable. They don't owe you anything. But I want to tell you, like, anything you see somebody doing and you feel like you want to do too, or even if you don't understand, just ask them. What I will warn you is, even with Geo, don't take 500,000 and just give him and invest in that and have to end up in court and thing, you know what I mean? Don't do that. You might want to do due diligence before you invest in somebody's business. But if you're seeing somebody doing something online, don't let the first thought be that the man is a scammer, the man is this and that and that. And if you feel like the person is that, don't go and put your money there to find out. It's easier and cheaper ways to find things out. But again, this episode is about talk. And King Fighter said it best. King Fighter said, no matter what you do, people go talk.
Not only here in the West Indies, but I find people is hard to please. This is really true, no matter where you do. I ain't talking nonsense, this is practical experience. Don't mind how you try, they will criticize and I don't know why. If you're changing steady and you're looking fancy, they will say how you're showing off. And if you're keeping yourself like a bad John, they will watch and laugh. But I fall in a plan, I ain't watching no man, I just doing to suit myself. Cause if it's not how you dress, it's the way that you walk, the people will talk. Take for instance when I was small, every day is a bacchanal. Well, I always misbehaving with expression and street fighting. Well, they talk all over the place, how I so bad and I out of place. Now I'm playing cool and easy. Well, the same people say how I stupid, how I can't even fight. So I step in life with my shoes and shoes on my feet. And now I'm playing at this and I'm playing at that. I like a girl, my skin smelling sweet. But I fall in a plan, I ain't watching no man, I just doing to suit myself. Cause if it's not how you dress, it's the way that you walk, the people will talk. If a man have an ugly head like Bill Briner, they will laugh till they nearly dead. Anyway he turn, look the clean-head man. But if your head good looking like mine, they will say that's a nice design. Nothing in this world like you can't please people with at all. If you're changing steady and you're looking fancy, they will say how you're showing off. And if you're keeping yourself like a badger, they will watch and laugh. But I fall in a plan, I ain't watching no man, I just doing to suit myself. Cause if it's not how you dress, it's the way that you walk, the people will talk. In 1961, I was living in Shantytown. Some people say how I going mad to choose the worst place in Trinidad. I leave the place and I went up San Fernando. I buy a big fancy bungalow. Friends, I wouldn't lie. The same people say how I'm flying high.
Yes.
If you're changing steady and you're looking fancy, they will say how you're showing off. And if you're keeping yourself like a badger, they will watch and laugh. But I fall in a plan, I ain't watching no man, I just doing to suit myself. Cause you put black like tar or white like a chalk, the people will talk.
You listen, the dentist make all the guy episode full of talking. Hey, before I head out of here, let me tell you this, right? They have some things in the culture and the sports I had to talk about before I go, right? The first and foremost, I wanna salute the. Well, I saw the meeting happening with CARICOM heads of government, and it was a special meeting, I believe, held in Guyana. I want to say about West Indies cricket, right? Salute to Kern, Daddy, everybody who were actually supporting West Indies and the diehards and so on. Salute to all you. All right, we're going to win. I try to stay positive with my talk in this thing. We're going to win the World Cup, right? It's the World Cup. But whatever it is the West Indies playing now, they were meeting about West Indies cricket and getting it back to where it needs to be. I want to believe they said there was a heartfelt appeal made by Michael Holden to get cricket back. Michael Holden seems to be crying everything he said. In your old age, when you see yourself get old and you reflect on your career and the greatness that you achieve and thing, you're bound to cry, because Michael Holden is quick to tears these days. But a passionate speech about getting West Indies cricket back where it needs to be as a developmental tool for the youth, as a tool to bring the region together, if not just for the cricket and the greatness and the happiness and joy it brings to all of us. But coming out of it, I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Coming out of it wasn't just a mandate or a plan for how the West Indies cricket will go back to the glory days. And the glory days for me was Ambrose and Walsh and Richard Richardson and Viv Richards and them fellas, you know what I mean? If you talk to my father, he describing a whole different set of glory days that would have gone on for a long, long time in terms of the dominance of West Indies cricket. And I think youths now, and when I say youths, anybody under 40 would only see West Indies lost, and it's kind of sad to see. But coming out of fixing that, I was pleasantly surprised to see the announcement of a Guyana-backed World Premier League that could bowl off in 2024. I like that. I understand the CPL and what it brings to the table and so on, but a World Premier League, Guyana money like dirt these days, right? And the money that they have small compared to the money that they will have and the development that they will see. So now is a good time for one of the wealthiest country in the Caribbean now, or whenever we have a country in the Caribbean that's wealthy, that is willing to look after the institutions of the Caribbean, I feel we're in a good place. So I'm reading from Gassy Merrick here. It says the Guyana Cricket Board has approached Cricket West Indies about the possibility of introducing a new T20 franchise tournament in the region that will attract the top global T20 teams to the Caribbean. The announcement was made by Guyana President Dr. Mohamed Al-Fanali, a man I like a lot, during a virtual address on day one of the CARICOM Regional Cricket Conference held at the Hyatt Regency. Oh, it was here. Sorry, it wasn't in Guyana. Under the banner of reinvigorated West Indies cricket. You know, I'm talking, right? I'm a mouth getting tired real time. Like, you see the numb part, it's starting to fall away. So before I catch a stroke, I can't move nothing. We're wrapping up this quick. But in Guyana, In Guyana, we are working with Cricket West Indies and CPL and the ICC to launch a new product for the region that will position the region in the global markets. There's a struggle. The World Premier League, we're hoping, can replace what used to be the Champions League. That league would have the best sides coming together to play, to recognize the best team in franchise cricket. This article jumping all over the place. These news ads like CNC, these news sites like CNC3, them want you to read the news. I feel like they don't like you to read nothing again. While the full details, the article moving every time I try to read. While the full details of the new proposal are still being finalized, CWI Chief Executive Officer Johnny Grave confirmed that the tournament could come to fruition as early as the latter part of 2024. Grave said the proposal has already received the blessing of Cricket West Indies and the Caribbean Premier League as is contractually required. We've received a proposal from Guyana about establishing a new event in the Caribbean where the franchise leagues in the world would come together and participate over a relatively short period. I can't read no more. In a nutshell, the Champions League at one point in time, Champions League of Cricket was bringing like the top two teams in the franchise cricket T20 tournaments like CPL and IPL and Australian Big Bash and so on, and they would have a tournament, a playoff among the champions, just like Champions League football, right? You know, Champions League football is limited to, at least UEFA is limited to the federations. So UEFA is the one in Europe. I want to say like every federation have their own version of Champions League. Of course, the European one is the most popular, right? I believe Real Madrid and them still in that. They have a few teams in it. I believe Real and City and two other teams who nobody ain't paying much attention to still in the Champions League, right? And they also have like UEFA. They have one that everybody expecting Bayern Leverkusen to win UEFA. It's a two, right? One for the premier guys, the ones who come first to fourth in most of the big leagues, and then the people who come fifth and sixth is that Europa Cup. There's another one. I feel like cricket missing that space since the Cricket Champions League that they had globally. It wouldn't make sense doing it based on federations. I think it makes sense what they're proposing here. And this is something, I'm glad they said 2024 too, because this is the kind of idea you want to execute and own very, very quickly, where you can get your top two IPL teams, your top two CPL, and wherever they've recognized leagues. I believe Bangladesh have one, England, Australia. All the cricketing nations have a T20 club tournament. The only difficulty I've seen in this, and I figure is why the Champions League had come to a pause eventually. I believe they only did a few times they did that Champions League. And I remember, if it's Red Steel was the name of the team at the time, Trinidad had a team that went there and played. One of the issues is, because franchise cricket is journeyman cricket, where Bravo is on the team that win in Trinidad for the CPL, but he also on the team that win in IPL. Just using him as an example, right? I think he's in retirement mode now, but you had to wonder if you do a Champions League and the IPL team had to play the Trinidad team, who the players will play for, because India owns their players and they don't allow their players to play in any other international T20 league. So that settles that. But in terms of the top West Indian players like Sunil Narayan and so on, who coincidentally turned down every opportunity or every invitation or every beg they sent his way to play for the World Cup, he said he's done with that, he's not going through it again. But somebody like him who playing in all those different leagues, or Kyron Pollard would have played in all them leagues, where exactly they will play, how they will choose which team they play for. Nonetheless, once they iron all the kinks like that associated with this, I think it's a great initiative. I hope that the Caribbean comes to own this tournament. Whether it's through Cricket West Indies, government of Guyana, it could be a serious revenue provider for the owner of this and for the region by extension. I also hope that they don't do the West Indian thing of trying to stifle things by keeping it in these little territories that only have 1 million people. Do it in the Caribbean once, yes, but treat it like a World Cup where people could bid to host the tournament. We still own it. Let we be the FIFA of the thing. Where we do it in India, we do it in Australia, do it in very big markets. I don't know why we have this mentality in Trinidad or somewhat is for Jamaica Carnival. We feel to own something mean we must exclude other people. I wanted to keep in mind the attitude that we have towards this youth who walking from Toko to South. as part of the reason why we must let go the bird. Don't stifle the bird. Let the bird fly. If you have a great idea, let it be a global idea. Our countries and territories and islands are too small to achieve economies of scale and large scale profitability or even scalability. We can't build nothing big enough. So what we have to do is ideate, create the thing. Not saying you keep it away from here, but do it and make it global. Like an example of making it global, I see in here is Salute to Air Committee. I will be there this coming weekend where they have the legends playing against our legends. So what they call Brazilian legends, or are they calling them global legends? No, they're just saying legends versus TNT All-Stars. And the legends we're going to see coming here are Cafu, who you would remember. Some of us will remember as 40-something years old. Was Cafu the last Brazilian captain to captain Brazil to World Cup? No, Cabi. But I remember one of my first World Cups I was watching early 90s. Cafu would have been the captain of that team, where they had men like Romario and Bebeto playing up front. Remember that? So they bring in Cafu, Rivaldo, Kaka, and Ed Milson as part of our Legends team that come in to play Trinidad All-Stars, which would feature people like Latapi, Dwight Yorke, Stern John, Leonson Lewis. I see coming back out. You have Leonson Lewis to put it in the net for we. And bring pride and joy to the people in this country. Tree. You remember that? So I like this. I like things like this. I don't think we would be able to afford. I think, some of these stars, when they're in star mode and they're flying high, we mightn't be able to afford to bring them to Trinidad or bring them to this region. But it's nice to see. I wish I could have seen Rivaldo or Fat Ronaldo on this team. That would be nice for me to see. But on pure nostalgia alone, because let me tell you, after I buy the tickets, the mistake I make is to go and watch Legends games, like to see what Rivaldo and Kaka and them looking like now. And I want to tell you this, right? They're looking like me and you and King George. Men slow, they touch off, but they have some moments of greatness and brilliance in them Legends games that is spectacular to see. So you still see how great these players are. But if you're anything like me, temper your expectations. Don't go too far. Because it's not the Rivaldo who in Barcelona chests it up from the top of the box and hits a bicycle home. It's not the same guy. This guy's 100 years old. But just to be able to see them play is something I think is worth it to me. And I appreciate Air Committee for bringing these things. I remember, if not Air Committee, you don't remember when they had like soccer picnic and these things where you would get a chance to see some of our veteran players and them kind of thing. I just excited about Cafu and Rivaldo as I am to see Dwight Yorke and lots of people play together again. Those things are exciting to me. That's things that I want to see. And what happened?
Let's go to the Legends.
Boy, bye. Come on to here now.
Dwight Yorke.
Yeah, but you're reading from the screen. You don't even know who's Trinidad Legends. Who's this one here? Lapati, come out. Bye. But Lapati.
Ed Milson, Kaka, Rivaldo, Cafu, Legends.
Okay. You done?
Nah.
And don't come in here eating again. Don't hear anybody. I was just talking about people eating and making nasty songs on podcasts. Bye. You excited to go Friday?
Yes.
You want to go to see Calypso Rose too?
Yeah.
Nah, that's for me and your grandmother. I'm also going this weekend to see Queen of the Road, Calypso Rose Musical by Roma Spencer. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in advance. This might be the first year I ever remember to say Happy Mother's Day, because I'm going with my mother and the mothers in my life to go and see Queen of the Road, which is a musical about Calypso Rose. I'm not sure if to say featuring Calypso Rose, like she'll be there, but I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. So as much as we celebrating legends in the sports, I like the idea of celebrating legends in the culture. And you're supposed to know by now already how I feel about documenting some of the work of our legends. I feel like it's something we don't do a great job at. So I salute anybody who is putting in the work to get that done. Talking about legends, there's a legend in Calypso I've come across who I will admit that I did not know very well. I don't know much of him. As an Antiguan Calypsonian. And you know what, sometimes when I'm planning for episodes here, I end up doing a deep dive into some of the Calypsonians from anywhere in the world pretty much. I was listening to plenty Calypso just to do one episode. I just wanted to appreciate and understand that. But there's a Calypsonian from Antigua that I should have known, to be honest, when I look at his catalog and his music. But more than the catalog and the music is the vibes of the man. And as we done here to talk about talk and them kind of thing in episode, due to my inability to talk for long periods at least, I want to play a song about a cuss out, because as much as it's a plenty songs like that. Duke one name one Bacchanali, one name Melvi, and even plenty songs where the song is about the talk. But I wanted to take a minute to play this Calypsonian by the name of King Obstinate, who is easily one of my favorite Calypsonians. And this man is vibes. Name of the song is Wet Your Hand, and it's about a cuss out happening where he from.
Cussing and Green Bay Hill are gone to work, come back the cussing still. Two women cussing and Green Bay Hill gone to work, come back the cussing still. Crazy yelling and Bigfoot mad, I know me lad of the cussing hard. So I climb up in a tambourine tree to observe the whole scenery. Well, I'm me tell you to kill your man. Wet your hand and wait for me. Say you tie up your head in a frying pan, woman. Wet your hand and wait for me. Why just cuss all the time, man, every day and night. Wet your hand and wait. I have a cap some time enough, but I go church to the man. Wet your hand and wait. I never see that man. Till night start to fall, Miss Melvin run out and start to fall. Me pick me one for go to bed and I you make too much nice at the head. I beg Miss Melvin to go and me let you love me. So if you think the dance, don't blame me. Boy, have some ginger tea. You better go, Miss Melvin. Wet your hand and wait for me. Miss Melvin, you must tell you go to yard, just go to she yard now. Wet your hand and wait for me. You're gonna get the red mouth. What does wet your hand and wait for me? No one they put me dead from red mouth. I just wet your hand and wait for me. Up came Ellen man with the food sauce pan inside the hand. We show you see a work me come from and the hungry. Me want funyam. Ellen say no hand and serve and ya. The man rest on the food carrier. Man he pelt the thumb and Ellen move out. And then he knock mad balls deep out his mouth. Let me go. Wet your hand and wait for me. You know he hit the man up. He like a bang man so. Wet your hand and wait for me. Somebody to fight out how you like. Wet your hand and wait for me. Wet your hand and wait for me. When a big fight break out and the stone heap, and all the neighbors they start to peep. So I come down out the tambourine tree and get closer to the activity. Up came Lionel Reed when Ellen those holes start to bleed.
Yes.
He fight all night, they wouldn't stop until they end up inside the Charles Light shop. Listen, I go to the place when I fight in here. Wet your hand and wait for me.
I miss it, Guan, Miss Melvi. Wet your hand and wait for me. I promise you a song from the Mighty Sparrow. The name of this one is The Old Man and the Donkey. Old Man and the Donkey.
Well, a old man, a little boy, and a donkey was in some difficulty. Going to Napuna from Port of Spain, where they just complete a bargain. Old and feeble, he decided to ride, and had a little boy walking by his side. When he reached by Success Village, the crowd started shouting advantage. Old man, hey, you old criminal. Old man, you ain't got no conscience at all. Get off the jackass, you're too damn advantageous. You on top the ass like a king.
And the poor little boy walking.
ready to please everybody right away. Jump off the donkey. Lift up the boy, put him on the donkey, and he start walking the journey. It made him feel good, although they criticized. He gave up his ride and left them satisfied. When he reached by Mova Junction, they start calling him a stupid old man. Old man, hey, you dotish old fool. Old man, like you never went to school. The little boy young, he should be on the ground. But he on top the ass like a king, and an old man like you walking. Now the old man decided to please everybody. None of them must ride this donkey. So the next thing he do, he make the boy come down and both of them walking in the sun. Man, they soaking with beads of perspiration. All their ambition is to please everyone. When they reach the quasi again, the whole assay won't start to complain. Old man, hey, is the load of your feet. Old man, you have a jackass to ride and beat. Don't hold the tail and they leave you, you should be in jail. You behind the ass suffering and a bareback jackass walking.
You want to hear the moral of this story? It was Paris.
They made a last try to please everybody. Two of them climb on the donkey.
Yes.
But in Champlain they met some folks up there who found them very unfair. Ring the police now, somebody say, oh the SPCA, don't let them get away. The band of mercy make bacchanal. Judge the old man cruelty to dumb animal. Well, the moral of the story is plain to see. Please yourself because you can't please everybody. Don't be ashamed when them newsmongers call your name. Stay on top the ass like a king. They go talk but you still riding.
Greatness in storytelling, you can't be that, right? I'll leave you with this one. This is by Private Ryan and Turner. The name of the song is Keep Talking.
Oh, na na na. Joey,
Young legend.
know where you're talking. And then I know where they're talking. Know where you're talking. Yeah. And boy, they watch Joey. Keep talking, Joey. We working, Joey. Yeah. And they don't know where they're talking about. They watch Joey. We moving, Joey. Improving, Joey. Yeah. And they don't know where they're talking about. Well, as a youth man, my father died. Hey, life must carry on. I know a lot of people see me down, and some might wish me wrong. And none of them don't know my struggle pain, but where I belong. I tell them careful how them talking with their funny tongue. A lot of them calling up my name. They say I'm not doing this for fame. Them should highly be ashamed. Oh Lord, them don't know my struggle pain, but still they watch how we are. Keep talking, Joey. We working, Joey. And they don't know what they're talking about. They watch how we are. We moving, Joey. Still chatting, Joey. Lord, but my what you talking about? My mama tell me, boy, go hills and all valley. Hey, make sure your music global and set the captives free. The way the things them turn, it was so hard for we. And if you know about 5 years by yourself, then now you could go and pray. Oh Lord, a lot of them calling up my name. See, I'm doing this for fame. Now I'm flying on all play. Grateful, I'll do it again. Oh yeah, they watch how we are.
can't keep talking no more. So listen, have a great week. I ain't see you all in a long time, but I'm happy to see you all again. And who knows, you might see me again soon. It depends on if the quacks and them call. No, man, no quack, right? But only have a good week, have a safe week, have a productive week. Walk across Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to be safe. Ain't one thing go happen to you. You know what I mean? Trinidad is still a loving, beautiful, blessed place. Only have a good week. And be productive so the place can stay beautiful and loving and productive, right? So enjoy.
I didn't know when you're talking. Kitchen boy, keep them talking.